is Claudine Reid, and I'm going to be speaking to you about the tipping point of progress in your business. A little bit about me. So for the last 25 years, I have been one of the co-directors of a multi-award-winning social enterprise called PJ's Community Services. Now, I joined PJ's in 1995 after doing a work experience stint in Holland. And I came back and I said to my friend, as part of my degree, I needed to do a job. He said to me, "Don't worry, you can go and work for my brother." I said, okay. I went to work for my friend's brother. Then my friend's brother, at the time that I was due to leave to go back to university to finish my degree, he said to me, he doesn't want me to leave. I'm like, mate, I've got to go finish my degree. He said to me, the only way I can get you to stay is if I propose to you. He proposed to me, we got married, and 25 years later, I am still running the business. I think it's a bit of a con, really. He's here, Patrick Reid. True story, true story. That was how I got started into business. So we've been running a multi-award-winning social enterprise called PJ's, and we provide services to vulnerable adults and vulnerable children. Along that journey, we've had the highs and lows of business, and as you are here at the business show, you're going to hear from lots of different people. Their stories are very personal to themselves in terms of how they've navigated the terrain of business. But there are some key points that I really want to bring out to you that has been the tipping point of our business over the last 3 years. But one of the things that I really love, that I really enjoy about running a business, is that I get the opportunity to do lots and lots and lots of different things. I've used business as my vehicle to impact the community. So over the last 25 years, well, it's 30 years that Patrick's been there, we've employed over 9,000 people. The responsibility, 9,000 people. But it's also given me the opportunity to advise the Secretary of State on business issues. It's also given me the opportunity, I'm currently the chair of the Lloyd's Banking Group Advisory Committee for Entrepreneurs and Business Owners. It's also given me the opportunity to take my business knowledge and how I want to see transformation in communities, cities and continents. I'm going to Dubai next week to start advising organisations over there too. But all of this started from my tiny little business, which has now employed over 9,000 people, which is contributing significantly to the British economy. Ultimately, that's my goal. Ultimately, the reason why I run a business is for 3 key reasons. Number 1, job creation. Number 2, social mobility. And number 3, generational legacy or generational wealth. Those are the things that are important to me, and I'm able to use business as my vehicle to enable me to do this. So here's just a couple of the organisations that I've been connected with, that I'm currently working with. I also write for Forbes. Let me just throw that in there. I'm a Forbes Council coach. But the picture that you see on the board is really the reason why I do what I do. That's my family. My 2 children graduated. I had graduation ceremony in Coventry on Monday. But that's the real reason. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because in the course of your journey of running your business, you need to have a why. You need to have a reason why you are doing this. Because when things don't go well, when the bank manager says no, when the application that you submitted for your grant funding or your loan application or anything else doesn't go according to plan, you've got to have something stronger than I thought it was a great idea. You've got to have something deep down within you. And I wanted to make sure I set a good example, not only for my family, but to anybody that's connected with me. So what you'll find in those 9,000 people, those 9,000 members of my team, there is a thread that runs through there. That thread is about empowerment. That thread is about social mobility. That thread is about what will you do with what you have. I believe that everybody in this auditorium has a gift, a talent, an ability, something that they've been born with. Your responsibility is to nurture that. I chose to nurture mine through the vehicle of business. So let's talk about enterprise thinking. Let me just see by show of hands, how many of you business is under 1 year old? Let me just see a show of hands. Under 1 year old, okay? Okay, under 1 year old. Under 5 years old? 5 years, okay. Older than 6 years? Okay, all right. So this concept here, this is just going to help me a little bit to kind of place a couple of points that I want to share with you. This concept here of enterprise thinking I got from Daniel Goleman. He's the author of a book called Paid to Think. How many of you want to get paid to think? Yeah, I see those hands, I see those hands. It's called Paid to Think by Daniel Goleman. And in there he talks about enterprise thinking. I believe that enterprise thinking, especially in a post-Brexit, post-COVID, if we ever get out of COVID era, that we have to start thinking enterprisely. What that looks like is cross-pollination. Can you take one idea from another sector and cross-pollinate that idea in another arena? Can you cross-pollinate or think enterprisingly, intergenerationally? Can you take ideas from one generation and reframe them and make them fit for purpose for another generation? Can you work across levels? Can your junior members of your team work with senior members of your team? Can you work across regions? Can you be right where you are in Europe and working in the UAE or Africa or in the Caribbean or in Australia? That's what enterprise thinking is. It's about you stepping out of not the box, the building. Professor Rosabeth Moss-Kanter has a book called Thinking Outside the Building. She's a Harvard lecturer and she speaks about doing away with the frameworks of yesteryear, decade even, and thinking about different concepts. How do you take your idea and make it fit for purpose in this current time frame that we live in? That's called enterprise thinking. So I believe right now that there are 3 key issues before I get to the tipping point. There are 3 key issues for businesses right now. Number 1, hybrid working. During the pandemic, both my children, they graduated and my son started his new job. I think I was probably more excited than he was. I was ready to take him to the shop to buy him a new suit, to buy him some shoes, to buy him all these things to kit him out so that on his first day of work, you know, for those of you with children, when it's your child's first day at school and you just want them to be like, oh my God, this is so, honestly, I think I was probably more excited than him. So when I'm saying to him, okay, we're going to go to the shop, he said, what are you doing? He said, I'm working from home. Oh, I was mortified. You mean I can't buy you a suit? You mean I can't? He said, no, because I'm going to wake up, I'm going to go downstairs, I'm going to have my breakfast, and then I'm going to come back upstairs and sit at my desk. Now, to me, like, that's not work. That doesn't look like work. But I immediately saw how COVID-19 has changed the way how we work. So right now, if you're not employing staff, it's something to think about. Can your staff work for you from the comfort of their sofa or from the comfort of their home, wherever it is that they choose? To start thinking about what hybrid working means for you and what it means for your business. The second key issue is about diversity. How do underrepresented groups, how do you serve them in the context of your business? Whether that's by race, by gender, by sexual orientation, by religion, whatever the protected characteristics are, how do you manage those protected characteristics in terms of diversity and inclusion, and more importantly, what that means to the progress of your business? Are you able to create services or products for underrepresented groups that your business is able to support? Is this making sense to anyone? Yes, I see some heads nodding. The last key issue that I want to bring to your attention, Tyler Omoth wrote about this in his article for Top Resume. He spoke about the acquisition of skills, not only for entrepreneurs, but also for employers and employees. What additional skills do you need in order to take your business from where it is to where you want it to be? You might not be able to answer that question for yourself. You might need somebody to feed into a conversation, a strategy session, a discovery session, to help you see yourself from a different perspective. What skills do I lack? On my particular team, I have several teams. I run my business, and I also have a number of other teams that I'm coordinating, right? Because we need teams. Teamwork makes the dream work. You've heard that saying before, right? You need teams. No man is an island. For as much as my organization is serving the community, I can't do that all by myself. I need teams of people to help me. So the reason why I'm saying to you that skill acquisition is important is because you need to be able to understand where are your gaps. When you know what your gaps are, you are then able to staff your weaknesses. You are then able to bring somebody alongside on your team to help you. My number one goal, my number one desire is have a team that is better than me. Some of my team are here today. I hope they're listening. I want my team to be better than me, because what that means is they stand on my shoulders and they're able to do far above and beyond what I could ever do. But here's the thing, I didn't think like that when I just started. When I just started, I wanted to be the end all and the be all of my business. I quickly realized that there are only 24 hours in my day. I wish I had more. How many of you wish you had another, at least, oh my goodness, yes, at least another 3 hours in your day? Well, let me tell you, I've already put in a request and nobody's getting any more time. So what that means is we've got to use our time wisely. We have to use the same way how you budget for your business or you budget for your personal finances, you have to budget for your time meticulously. You can get more money, you won't get more time. Use it wisely. So think about the skills that you need in order to push your business along. So here's the 3 key tipping points in my business that I want to share with you. The first tipping point in my business was about mentorship. We were about 10 years into running our business, and I remember there was an organization that came and said, oh, you know, we want to help your business. Like, what do you mean you want to help my business? Do you know this is my idea, it's my ingenuity, it's my creativity, it's my innovation, and you want to come and tell me how to run my business? So I did it with a little bit of, you know, a bit of a heavy heart, and I invited her in and she came. And I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, in the first 15 minutes, I had my notebook out, I had my pen out, I was writing down systems, I was writing down structure, I was writing down strategy, all of the things that I thought that I knew. I realized in that moment, tipping point number 1 was about mentorship. Having a mentor who has been along the journey further than you, who can see the pitfalls, who can give you insights to some of the things that you think you know, they're able to share those insights with you from a different perspective. If you're taking notes, write down mentorship. Number 2, risk management. Every time along the journey of developing my business, when we moved from turning over 100,000 to $250,000 to $500,000 to 7 figures, at every step of that journey, risk management moved higher and higher and higher up the agenda. At the stage of where you are now, think about what risk management processes do I need to put in place in my business? What systems, structures, and protocols do I need to put in place in my business now, so that as your business grows, you're going to do that whole process all over again? The McKinsey model speaks about the 7S structure. You may have heard of that. It starts off with having a shared vision. What's the vision for your organization? Once you are clear on your vision, on the key objectives, you can then start moving to strategy, structure, systems, staffing, skills, and style. You can then start thinking about how does that work in the context of your business, and how can you utilize those core benefits to manage the risk of your business. COVID-19, number 1 risk for everyone. Many of you probably couldn't even get in here, right, without having or proof of your lateral flow test or your COVID passport. Think about how does this mitigate, how can your business mitigate against those risks? How can you ensure that whatever's happening in the external environment doesn't or has a minimal effect on your business? That's the external environment. So what about the internal environment. Think about the policies and the procedures that you need in place in your business to ensure that as your business is growing, as you are moving from one level of income to another level of income, you have a framework that can support it. A framework of support which might be outside of your knowledge base. It might be outside of what you already know. One of the reasons why I was opposed to having a mentor is like, hey, I've been doing this for 10 years. Do you know how much money I'm turning over? What are you going to tell me that I don't already know? I tell you, she quashed that in the first 15 minutes, right? I realized that I've been doing this thing for however long and I knew this much. So think about, what does that mean for you and who do you need to align yourselves with? Tipping point number 3, leadership development. I realized that in order for my business to grow, I need to grow. If you're taking notes, you need to write that down. In order for my business to grow, I need to grow. I needed to increase my capacity for more. I needed to get around the right type of people. I needed to read the right type of books, listen to the right type of podcasts, connect with strong, like-minded people. If my husband was speaking to you, he would tell you, if you hang with turkeys, you'll be dead by Christmas. If you're from the States, it would be, where are they? Thanksgiving, right? There you go. Thank you very much. So you've got to make sure the people who you align yourself with are having elevated, high-level, strategic conversations, because part of the process, part of your journey, part of your ability to increase your capacity for more, part of your ability to take that tipping point from where you are to where you want to be depends on your rate of development. Are you following me? So what I did to develop myself was align myself with a mentor. I would align myself with people whose businesses are far better, bigger, more robust than mine. And what I would be doing is learning from them. I'm learning, how do you answer this question? How do you manage that situation? I used to be chair of governors at a secondary school. And I realized that the experience that you have in the different arenas of life you're able to cross-pollinate those skills. So the skills that you learn in one arena, you are able to take over to your business. That's why your skills development is important. Think about, how can I take what I've learned over here in my previous job or in a previous role, and what do I need to bring over here into my business in order for there to be a constant flow of revenue, in order for my marketing plan to work, in order for my social media platforms to work, in order for my risk management profile to work, in order for me to ultimately feed back into the 3 things that I said were important to me, which were you listening? Number 1, job creation. Number 2, social mobility. Thank you, Renee. And number 3, generational wealth. Thank you, you were listening. You are the best audience in this theatre today. You are absolutely incredible. What should we do next? I would encourage you all to dream loud, to dream big, and to dream in colour. You've come to the business show today. You're going to have a wealth of information. Don't let that information stay in its yellow bag. When you go home, part of your responsibility is to wade through the information. Find something that works for you. On your chairs, you should all have a flyer that looks like this, or you should have this in your hand. If you haven't got one, stick your hand up and Laura in the red jacket will come and give one to you. Thank you so much, Laura. I would love for you to connect with me, either on Instagram or on LinkedIn. One of the things I love doing, because I have a team, is spending my time coaching and mentoring business owners like yourselves, because I understand the journey. I understand the highs and the lows of the journey. I understand the pitfalls. I understand, what do you need to look out for? What does that pothole look like? If you don't do these 3 things, what will happen? Or if you do these 3 things, what will happen? So I'd love for you to connect with me. That's the thing that I want you to do next. I want you, that when you leave this environment, when you leave this place, I want you to start working on your business plan if you haven't already done so. If you have a business plan already, now is the time. Before the end of the year, oh my goodness, it's December in a few days. Before the end of the year, make a promise to yourself that your business will be ready to launch by the 1st of January 2022. I already see some eyebrows like, oh my gosh, does she know how much work I have to do? Yes, because I've been doing this for 25 years. How many of you are with me? How many of you are going to make a commitment to yourself? Okay, I see some hands, a few. A couple of you look like you're not sure. Claudine, I don't know if I'm signing up to your bright ideas. Make a commitment to yourself, if not for the 1st of January, but make a commitment to yourself as to when you're going to launch your business. Once you've made that date in terms of the commitment, work backwards from there. What do I need to do? Who do I need to speak to? Do I need an accountant? Do I need a legal advisor? What legal structure should my business be? What course or person do I need to align myself with so that the outcomes that I'm looking for in my business will be what I want it to be? Everybody has a dream to make a 7-figure business. Most people that I speak to, Claudine, this is what I want to do. Let me be very clear with you. It is possible. It's possible, all right? Especially in this post-COVID era, a 6-figure or a 7-figure business is even more possible than it was a couple of years ago. Why? Because the World Wide Web. I stayed in my home during COVID and did business in Dubai, business in Hong Kong, business in Taiwan. I had clients calling me from across the world. You have the capacity to do that. So if you set that date and work backwards from there and begin to plan and tell yourself, what 3 things do I need to do when I leave here today? Don't sleep on that yellow bag now. You know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the yellow bag? I see a couple of faces like, what on earth is she? Yes, that yellow bag. You're going to go around and collect all this information, but here's how this works. Your business works when you work. Your business works when you sign up to a mentor and you do what he or she says. Your business works and generates revenue when you put the work in. It's not going to happen by magic. It happens because you have done those 3 things. You found a mentor. You've done a risk management profile. You've developed yourself as an individual in terms of your leadership. Of course, there are other things, but those 3 key things were really, really important for me and for my business and for my team of staff in order to help us make the progress that we wanted to make. Within my business, I was on LinkedIn pre-COVID. I was going to networking events. I was putting myself in spaces where I felt uncomfortable. I was connecting with people who didn't look like me. Let me talk about that bit, right? I was putting myself in places, whoever didn't look like me, whether it was by gender, by race, by ethnicity, whatever bracket you want to look at, those are the people who I wanted to talk to. I wanted to get a different perspective. I wanted to get a different level of understanding. I wanted to find out, could you be my client? Could I serve you? Could the thing that I think, oh my gosh, this is a great idea, I wanted to expand that. That allowed me to have deeper, broader, wider conversations about the scope of my ability and about what I could do for other people. That was pre-COVID. Post-COVID, I've done exactly the same thing, done it online. Because you know, I could be in my front room and be having a conversation in Malaysia. Okay, I've got to take into consideration the time zone. So what do? Go to bed early. Don't let that be a showstopper. Go to bed early. Connect with people. Be very, very present. Ask them conversations. Instead of shoving your product to them, find out about them. What do you want? How can I serve you? What does your business need? So you have two routes. Face-to-face and in person. Being brave. And let me tell you, that is not an easy thing to do. You know, it kind of rolled off my tongue, but after 25 years of doing this, I feel like a veteran at doing this. I acknowledge that it's not easy, right? But you've heard the famous saying that says, feel the fear and do it anyway. You've got to turn up the dial of your courage to walk into a room. If you've ever been to a networking room, The number one thing that you don't want to do is stand at the corner. Let me just wait for somebody to come and talk to me. No, you've got to be bold. Hi, my name's Claudine. You know, people enjoy talking to you about their business. From that 30-second conversation, you can then find out how can you best serve them. All right, I think we might have time for, no more time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have been you are the best audience in the whole of the ExCel Center. I know that there are other conferences going along next door, but you are the best audience here. Please make sure you connect with me on any of my social media platforms, and I look forward to engaging with you. Thank you very much.